The death in police custody of Mahsa Amini has sparked the biggest movement against Iran's religious restrictions on women since the 1979 revolution. Today's Perspective guest is the Iranian journalist who sounded the alert that the 22-year-old had been beaten into a coma by Iran's morality police. Aïda Ghajar investigated the story from Paris, where she's been living in exile since 2010. It was published on the website Iran Wire, and she joins us now by Skype. Thank you so much for speaking with France 24 today. How did you first hear about Mahsa Amini's story and go about reporting on it?
Good morning to all. Thank you for having this story on this media. The first time that I heard about this story, I read on the social media that there's a girl who beaten by the police, moral police, and she's on the hospital. But we didn't have any news. We didn't have any access to the hospital, and no one answered us. So I tried to reach other journalists inside Iran, bloggers, activists, women rights activists, and we found out her brother who was with her at the same time when Mahsa was arrested. So I called my contact on Iran, and we found her brother. Her brother talked to me, and he told me the full story that Mahsa on the 13 September she was just a girl who traveled on capital. She arrested by the moral police, and then they put Mahsa on the police van, and they took the Mahsa to the detention center named Vozara on Tehran. And then the police told Mahsa's brother that she gonna have 1 hour training how to wear correctly the hijab, and then they gonna liberate Mahsa. But less than 2 hours, there was an ambulance getting out from this detention center, and Mahsa's brother was there. He trying to find out if Mahsa was blessed or injured, and then he found out that Mahsa was on that ambulance. He showed Mahsa's photo to the other girl was were there at the detention center, and then he went to the nearest hospital and find out his sister Mahsa was on the coma. When I found his brother, Mahsa was on the coma, and we all, the family, hoped that Mahsa gonna survive. But after 3 days on coma, Mahsa ending up dead on the hospital, and no one answered family. The latest news that I can confirm to you, yesterday night I was on contact with the family, and some member of their family told me that all the family are under pressure by the government to accept the scenario that said Mahsa was sick before arrestation, that her father, her uncle, her brother, and other member of Mahsa's family, they said this is a lie, and they resisted to accept this scenario. This pressure by government wants the family of Mahsa being front of the camera and confession by force that Mahsa was sick. But until now that I'm talking to you, they resist to accept this scenario.
Wow, and when you talk about government pressure, is that threats? Does her family feel that they're in danger now in their situation?
As they told me, there are a police intelligence service and Revolutionary Guard, member of Revolutionary Guard. They are around their home, and they calling them. They treated them, and they are not at a good situation now.
It is a devastating story, and it set off such an incredible movement. What's it been like for you watching the reaction from so far away?
Oh, good question. It's been 10 years that I'm living here, and I'm seeing what's happening in Iran on distance. It's not the first time that happened in these 10 years that I'm here. In November 2019, there was a big movement around Iran, and the government killed protesters on the street. They shutting down the internet for 3 days and killing the protesters. On Iran Wire, I can confirm, we mentioned the name of more than 315 protesters who has been killed. But the Reuters mentioned there were more than 1,500 persons who has been killed. So this is not the first time, but I can confirm that this time it's different. It's about women. This is the resistance of women. They taking off their scarf on the street. They're facing face to face with the police this kind of police that can kill people. Everyone inside and outside Iran, when I'm talking to them, they thought Mahsa could be one of their family. They think this could happen to them, to their daughter. Mahsa wasn't a political activist or women rights activist. She was just ordinary girl who traveled to the capital for a touristic trip. And now she ended up here. And all the women, because the situation of the women on Iran, it's so disaster. I can give you the example about law. For example, the women couldn't divorce when they want. The women couldn't ride a bicycle on the street. The women, the rape on family marriage, it's legal. It's named tamkin. That means that when you are married, you can't, as a woman, you can't say no to your man. You can't say no to your husband, and the husband could divorce you. I can give you another example about a Me Too movement around the world. On Iran, by the law, if women go to the juridical system and say, I raped, they need witnesses. Two witnesses, women, it's equal one man. This is the situation of women on Iran. I'm going to ask you how, if you live on this pressure, on this political regime, misogyny regime, patriarchy regime, you don't think Mahsa could be one of your family?
No, she absolutely could. She could be any woman in Iran. And on social media, many people have been pointing out that as these protests have been taking place, Iran's president, Ibrahim Raisi, was shaking hands with world leaders at the UN General Assembly. What do you think of the reaction that you've seen so far from outside of Iran?
Yesterday, the president of Iran, Mr. Raisi, told that this case, Mahsa's case, is not such an important thing. He was angry that all the international media, all the world talking about this police, this kind of killing happened by the police. And this man, Iran president, he was one of the judge on it's been before 30 years, more than 30 years, we had a massacre on Iran that they killed government after revolution. 9 years after revolution, they killed more than 500 political prisoner on Iran. And this president, Ibrahim Raisi, was one of the judges who decided for this political prisoner. We have the name. These names published. You can follow the Hamid Nouri's case on Stockholm that Mr. Raisi was his boss. And now Hamid Nouri sentences to 25 years on prison. This is the maximum sentences, juridical sentences on Sweden. So the world, governments around the world, they are dealing with Mr. Raisi and Guide Supreme and Mr. Khamenei, who is the first one, leader on Iran, that they are from the day they have this political system, they start to killing people. They start to putting the law that are against the humanity, against the dignity. But and they can shutting down the internet and they can kill people, and no one knows about the Iranian women, Iranian women and Iranian protesters, Iranian human being inside of Iran.
Aïda Ghajar, I'm gonna have to stop you there because we've run out of time. But thank you so much for talking about this important story with us. We wish strength to Mahsa Amini's family, strength to you, and thank you again very, very much for joining us today.